April 9th, 2015. We leave Vancouver Island, bound for Unalaska in the Aleutian Islands. Ahead lies some 2,600 nautical miles of open ocean and uninhabited islands. Despite our early season start, the mountains are almost bare of snow, less than we have seen in July in previous years. In Juneau, the docks are strangely empty. The streets deserted and traffic free. The first cruise ship is not due for another 3 weeks. Moorage is plentiful and the harbour silent, with the absence of float planes. The forecast is good for the Gulf of Alaska, but we encounter strong local winds en route to Cape Spencer, which marks the entrance to the Gulf. Once outside in open water, the weather is fair, the skyline dominated by the coastal mountains. The only traffic, gargantuan barges towed by diminutive tugs. Kodiak Island is a prominent landmark of historic significance. Our first real stopping point is Cordova in Prince William Sound. We were last here in 2013, but have returned this time for the Bird Festival, celebrating the annual northward migration of millions of birds, especially western sandpipers, whose main nesting area is the Yukon. These tiny birds have flown around 200 miles per day to reach here from San Francisco, or in some cases, even as far as South America. After a couple of weeks and a farewell from some friendly otters, we continue west across Prince William Sound. We pass the Stella Sea Lion Haulout on the Needles. We go next to the fjords on the Kenai Peninsula. We anchor in aptly named Ribbon Fall Cove, surrounded by magnificent waterfalls. The following morning, in perfect weather, we follow Granite Passage to the Northwest Glacier at its head. We nudge our way through the ice, careful to steer clear of ice floes on which harbour seals are pupping. Our new drone provides a unique viewpoint, hitherto denied us. Cataract Cove is too deep and rocky to permit anchoring, but allows us to move close to waterfalls with deep water beneath our keel. Taking advantage of a short weather window, we make the crossing to Kodiak on the island of the same name. Unlike Canada, fish farms are banned in Alaska. Commercial fishing is flourishing, and harbours are crammed with well-maintained fishing boats. Venture is one of just a handful of recreational vessels. Pillar Mountain, overlooking Kodiak, has 6 windmills and provides a good viewpoint over the city and the surrounding islands. Russian heritage remains strong in Alaska, and almost every settlement, however small, boasts a Russian Orthodox church. From Kodiak we cross Shelikof Strait to Geographic Harbour in Katmai National Park on the Alaskan Peninsula. What at first glance appear to be patches of dirty snow on the flanks of the surrounding mountains is ash from the enormous eruption of Nova Rupta on June the 6th, 1912. Bears here are protected from hunting, so, unlike most of Alaska, they do not flee at the sight of humans. Taking the tender, we observed 16 bears in one day, including this mother with 3 cubs. The light-colored bear in this twosome is a female who chased away a rival to flirt with a dark-colored male. Another pair along the beach appear ambivalent about our presence. In this short video, it is hard to convey the nature of this raw and untamed land. Much appears untouched and unvisited, and most undoubtedly has never encountered a human footstep. On almost every island where the coast meets the sea, it is as if some cataclysmic force has sheared off the land, creating fissured and shattered cliffs. In the Atlantic, these would be home to millions of shrieking birds, but here there is hardly a one. Kodiak Island is a rare exception. No prizes for guessing why this headland is named Castle Cape. We anchor in the northern arm of Castle Bay, where jagged spires draped with mist rise sheer 3,600 feet from the water. Our next anchorage, American Bay, is almost as dramatic. Our next stop is Sand Point, another town entirely dependent upon fishing and fish processing. As usual, the harbour is dominated by commercial fish boats. George joins us here, and we put him to work filleting the salmon, so generously provided by friendly locals. Checking the weather and following the advice of the coast pilot are vital for safe navigation. The weather over the Bering Sea is generally bad and very changeable. Good weather is the exception and does not last for long. Wind shifts are frequent and rapid. The summer season has much fog and considerable rain. In early winter the gales increase, the fogs lessen, and snow is likely at any time after mid-September. Winter is the time of almost continuous storminess. Much of this area has only been partially surveyed, and the charts must not be relied upon too closely, especially near shore. The currents are much influenced by the winds and are difficult to predict. Dead reckoning is uncertain, and safety depends upon constant vigilance. We delay our departure by 1 day, but the seas remain boisterous. volcanoes are visible on the mainland. We spend one night in Volcano Bay with katabatic winds gusting in excess of 40 knots. As dawn comes up like thunder, apocalyptic clouds loom overhead, driven by the unabated winds. We pass south of Kodiak Island under the shadow of its magnificent volcanoes. We have reached the Aleutians. We turn into Dora Harbour, seeking shelter from the blustery conditions, and are soon joined by 30 small fishing boats. Again we are presented with salmon so fresh they had been swimming 1 hour previously. They provide a delicious meal. We spend a peaceful evening in pastoral surroundings. We leave the Gulf of Alaska at Unimak Pass and enter the Bering Sea. We stop for the night in beautiful English Bay on Unalaska Island. The surrounding hills appear clothed with green velvet in the soft evening light. In the far distance we can see snow-capped Pogromny volcano on Unimak Island. Priest Rock points the way to our ultimate destination. In terms of pounds of seafood landed, Dutch Harbour is the largest port in the whole of the United States. Actually, its correct name is Unalaska, with Dutch just being one of several harbours. We visit Fort Schwatka atop Ballyhoo Mountain to tour the remains of World War II fortifications. This photo was taken in 1942. The view from the top shows Dutch Harbour, contained within the spit of land in the foreground, with the town of Unalaska in the distance. Venture proves too large to fit in the small marina near town, so we relocate to Carl Moses Boat Harbour, surrounded this time by even larger commercial vessels. There are excellent facilities, although only 100 amp shore power is available. We are now 2,603 nautical miles from our starting point. Unalaska is between fishing seasons. Everywhere are enormous stockpiles of refrigerated containers. Many, like these, brand new, awaiting the bounty of salmon. Elsewhere are stacks of crab pots like those featured in the TV series Deadliest Catch. Unalaska bears absolutely no resemblance to the impression gained from this program. Eagles are everywhere. We are warned never to look up if dive-bombed by an eagle. Would you want these talons to rake your face? And you wouldn't want to tangle with this guy. A strange cubic sculpture decorates the downtown waterfront, close to the first-class Grand Aleutian Hotel. Here too is a Russian Orthodox church, with adjacent graveyard. There are a number of roads to drive, including this one, which, like so many, owes its origin to the military from World War II. Fog is always lurking, and liable to disrupt aircraft movements at the downtown airport. We are now barely halfway through our journey. There will be more, much more, in future videos.